All right, I hope you guys can see this. This backdrop kind of blends everything in. I'm gonna be rolling a cone today. The topic of the video is the snubber. I made this snubber for rolling cones. Essentially what we have here is the snub point has been coated with some stainless steel. I ran a little weld bead on there to give us a nice hard surface there. So, all right, so this is what I needed the cone for. Another pulse jet out the door. Now this shape was drawn out on a software called Cone Layout. I paid for the paid version, and you basically just give the two radiuses and the height, and we're going to go with it. So start off, we're going to zero everything up. I got a cheapo without a scale, so I use a slide rule to zero everything. Okay, so let's just take a look at how this goes. And you can see how the snubber is making it naturally roll. Before I was just doing it on the fly, and I've rolled a lot of cones with this slip roller without the snubber, and I can tell this is my first go. You can tell already it's 1,000 times better. Causing a natural movement because of this pivot point and the rollers pushing. Okay, let's raise this up. 1, 2. We'll try 2. Yeah, at the end it gets a little wonky. So what we would do is then slide it down here and go this way. So we keep going back and forth. 1, 2, 3 turns. Oop, my snubber moves a little bit. I don't think it matters. You know, after taking a look at this, I got half of mine to start just rolling half the cone when the radius is this small, and then welding them together, because this has got a nice little look to it right there, man. That's a perfect half a cone. Field on this thing, I guess. What I had never seen before is the drawback where you bring it over to this side and hit it also. I think that's probably one of the best things that I've learned in this process. I used to just stick to the one side of the machine, but I think that helps form the top and bottom rim a little better. I could be wrong. Where we are on the angle there, you can see it's a pretty drastic slope. Move, we got to go down and in to shore up that gap. Now if this cone if this part here wasn't so small, this wouldn't have happened. You could roll perfect cones with that. I've seen it done. I'm doing something way beyond the specs of the machine as normal. You're not even supposed to be rolling 16 gauge in this machine, let alone 16 gauge stainless. Okay, so that got us this far. Certainly looks concerning, but we're going to be able to pull that out of there. Just by crushing this seam together, it's going to pull that dimension into place. So. Hey, right on. So just by getting this on there, pounding that down with a long clamp, keeping the tension, we were able to pull a really nice looking circle there. And we ended up with a usable cone, even though this slip roller is not made to roll cones that small. Now if you use that technique to roll an average size cone, you're not going to have near the problems that I just experienced. But what we're going for there, you can see the cone looks just fine. No real problems with this cone. It looked like it was a disaster there for a minute. So there it is, fellas. We're rolling cones with the snubber nowadays. And we're finally getting somewhere. It's about time. We actually got lucky there having that piece slip away from us for a minute there. It was almost headed for the trash pile, but I decided no, this is metalworking after all. And a lot of these metalworking videos, I think sometimes they hide some of the brute force and just sheer manipulation of metal that's needed. Things don't always go as planned. You ought to see some of the struts and brackets and pry bar mechanisms I've seen these boiler makers do in the power plants. They'll hook come-alongs up to stuff, everything. I've seen them hook forklifts up to stuff and pull on it. So anyway,